When you try to rock the boat, there are bound to be people raising their hand. I object. So we need to look at this merger in the larger context of how Korea is performing, how the shipbuilding industry globally is performing, how the offshore fabrication industry is performing. When we look at Korea, unemployment rates is increasing. When you look at the shipyards, they are typically a major employer of human resources in the country, be it in a small country like Singapore, be it like a high-tech country like Korea, where a lot of their yards are highly automated, be it in a labor-intensive country like China, is a big employer of human resources. As the country's unemployment rate starts to rise, there's this big merger going on, potential for a lot of redundancies. It may not be politically appetizing, but like I said just now, tough decisions. You need to understand what is the aim, what's the end this merger is trying to achieve. If Korea is able to restore their competitiveness in terms of cost, in terms of profitability of the yard, it's a long way that they can go. That will contribute to long-term employment. Secondly, there will be a lot of people complaining. People have already been complaining about Korea because the government, either directly or indirectly, have been giving a lot of support to these shipyards for decades. China has the same complaint. People have been complaining that the government has been subsidizing those shipyards. But when you look at it from the perspective of the market, it is probably something beneficial if you look at it from a long-term perspective. The chief effect of having this merger is potentially reduce competition within Korea. There will not be so much competition out there. One of the main reasons why margins, especially offshore margins, on very complicated projects have fallen from 10+% all the way to 3-5%, is competition within the 3 South Korean shipyards. Now we remove one of them. That's a potential. I need to stress. There's a potential for rational bidding. Thirdly, the unions. They are already protesting. I read from your news, eggs throwing people outside DSME headquarters, outside Hyundai headquarters, outside KDV, throwing eggs at the building, protesting. Is it really good for the merger? Is it really good for the Korean shipbuilding industry? Probably not. Because when you look at it from a business perspective, I'm a buyer. I want to build ships. I go to Korea. But every other week, I have a work stoppage. And these work stoppages probably will intensify when Hyundai and DSME releases more and more details about this consolidation. But of course, the unions, just like I mentioned just now, it is the responsibility, it is the right of the shipyard, of the country, of South Korea to regain their competitiveness. It is the right, it is the power of the union to make sure that the welfare of their workers are being taken care of. But there need to be a compromise. Because if the shipyard were to go down, if labor unrest were to lead to more and more buyers seeking supposedly more stable alternative, probably in China or Singapore, it is going to be a long-term downturn trend for the Korean shipbuilding industry. And lastly, logic. When we analyze deals, when we analyze the market, we always thought logic prevails. But in most cases, no, even for myself, there's some preferences. So in a deal where a bigger brother supposedly has bought up a smaller brother, a younger brother, logic is even more important. We need to cast the pride, the vested interest that I mentioned just now. All these are obstacles to rational thinking. All these are obstacles to how the new structure of DSME HHI will be in order for it to be competitive in the industry, in order for it to stay relevant against lower costs and improving alternative in China and Singapore.